I'm Rhonda Shelford Jansen, and I've been painting since I was a child. I was introduced to art by my native grandmother, who was an accomplished oil paint artist and watercolorist. She would give me lessons and drag me all around the Kenai Peninsula to shows. So we had a wonderful time. It was wonderful memories. And then as time went on, I took art classes in school and in college, just as electives. I didn't major in art. And then kind of as I was raising my kids, I continued to paint, but maybe one painting a year or something like that. And then a few years back, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I decided it was time to start doing my life's passion, which is painting. Most of my art just comes out of my head. I do a lot of research because I like my paintings to be at least pretty historically correct. So I do research, I print all kinds of stuff off the internet, and then I compose a painting out of my head from all sorts of different sources of information. Well, first of all, I think I wouldn't have listened to my dad. He told me to major in accounting, to do something practical, that art wasn't practical. I think I would have followed my passion. I could have always taught, which I actually did teach a little bit over the years, just as on a volunteer and like with some homeschooled kids. But I think the thing in my heart that stands out the most to me at this point in my life is that you're never too old to do your passion. And a lot of times we do things out of necessity and we're busy, but man, when life calms down, go for it. You're never too old to live your dreams. And that's the way I want to live my life. And that I hope that at my age, that could be an encouragement to other people. They don't say, oh, it's too late, it's over. It ain't over. And so it has just been kind of life to me to return to my passion and to honor my grandma in that way. And I really try hard to honor her. And I've been in a newspaper article, and some other articles and websites have done a thing on me, and I always add her name just to honor her and to give her credit for being such an influence in my life, such a positive influence in my life. For 1 year, when I was 12 years old, my uncle Bob Reesoff, which one of the docks there in Unalaska is named after him, it's the Reesoff dock. He brought a old ferry that was converted into a processor to Dutch Harbor. Wow. And my dad was the superintendent of it. What was that?
Okay.
Yeah, and so we lived on it for a while. Then we lived in a trailer right beside it, right on the water, where I think it's where Unisea is now. That's where it used to be. So we had a wonderful time back in those days. We used to have to take a boat, a speedboat, or what do you call those military boats that the front drops down? I can't think of the name right now. They had those too. Weather was good. What's that?
A landing craft?
Yes. On really rough days, we would have to, because the bridge wasn't there between Dutch Harbor and Unalaska. So we would have to take the landing craft if the weather was bad, and we would take a speedboat over every day to school if the weather was decent. So it was a different day in Dutch Harbor, Unalaska back in those days. And some of my most special memories are from that year, because school was so laid back. It was basically in a house. I don't know if you're aware of where it used to be. I think the house is knocked down now. I think I asked about it last time I was there. But it was basically a big house, probably a military building, I'm sure. And my class had 7th and 8th grade in it. We probably only had 15 kids total. So it was an amazing experience. We would go for walks down the beach there on Unalaska along the church and all that. Some days we just skipped school and the teacher would take us out. And it was a wonderful experience. I do photography with glass fishing floats, and all of my glass fishing floats photography come from glass balls that we found on the beaches of Unalaska and farther out too, because we used to go way out to go beachcombing and picnicking. So that is my Unalaska experience. And then my family has been fishing up there forever. So I have a ton of links up there. Yeah, it is one of my most beautiful places that I've ever, like I said, I've ever lived. I used to love walking up on top of the hills and just sitting there staring out at water everywhere. And I loved that there were no trees, because to me you could see forever, and I love ocean. So I love it there. It's a beautiful place.